As soon as this duckling was born, its parents started to quarrel because it looked different from its brothers and sisters. The father duck suddenly felt like there was a big grassland above his head. In the end, they parted ways. The father duck left the house with nothing. The mother duck took a few children out to relax, leaving the ugly duckling at a loss. In the end, it chose to follow the mother duck and trotted all the way to catch up. When it saw the brothers and sisters climbed onto the mother's back, it sat on them. The mother duck began to call out the ugly duckling, but it exposed itself. The mother duck was very angry and threw the ugly duckling into the water. The ugly duckling ran after it again in a naive way because of its mother's indifference. Seeing this, Broomstar Duck mother was completely furious. She scolded the ugly duckling without mercy. The ugly duckling felt very wronged, but she didn't expect her brother and sister to come forward and blame her. Watching her family leave, the ugly duckling was very confused about what went wrong, so she looked at her own. The reflection was shocked by her own appearance. She couldn't believe that she looked so ugly. Looking at her brothers and sisters playing around, the ugly duckling cried. She cried, realizing why everyone disliked her. The ugly duckling chose to leave this sad place, unsure of where her home was. After walking for a long time, she suddenly heard a few birds singing from above. The ugly duckling thought they were going to accept her, so she climbed up the tree happily. The ugly duckling was conquered by the enthusiasm of the baby bird. At this time, the mother bird came back with a worm in her mouth. When she got home, she threw the food out without saying a word. When she came to her senses, she found that the food was delivered to the ugly duckling's mouth. The mother bird was so angry that she pecked at the ugly duckling. In a hurry, she jumped into the pond to avoid the attack, but accidentally bumped into a wooden duck. Thinking that the ugly duckling was causing trouble again, she hid under a lotus leaf and secretly observed it, but she found that the duck was kindly looking at her. She smiled at herself. She was very happy and thought this was her biological mother. She went forward and hugged the wooden duck and acted like a spoiled child. Her previous troubles disappeared at this moment. She performed her unique skills in front of her mother and played games. She had never been so happy before. The ugly duckling jumped off her mother's mouth, but unexpectedly, she was pushed into the water. Before she could react, the mother duck slapped her again. The ugly duckling was scared and ran away in a hurry. At this moment, she realized that no one really liked her. The ugly duckling cried, crying more sadly and more aggrieved than before. She didn't understand why everyone didn't like her. The helpless ugly duckling could only sit by the river and cry bitterly. At this time, several duckling that looked like her swam over. The ugly duckling turned around and rubbed her eyes in disbelief. She felt much better when she saw a group of ducklings that looked like her. The ugly duckling jumped into the water and started playing games with them. But soon, the mother swan. The ugly duckling left after several experiences, but unexpectedly, several ducklings came after it. The swan mother embraced the ugly duckling. It was the first time she felt the warmth of maternal love. Finally, the swan mother took her away from this sad place.